Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop's Place. We've got some mini bike madness going on, a little bit of chopper action too. We've got Robert's crusty chopper here in the garage and a bunch of mini bikes. You can see here behind me, the garage is getting cluttered up. It's getting full again. I've got Robert's 85, I believe, Sportster. He put a hardtail on it. And I've got his little mini bike in here, and then I picked up a couple of mini bikes for myself because I'm into that sort of thing. I love small engines and go-karts and mini bikes, and we're going to fix up a couple for me and my son to play with, and something for a pit bike at the racetracks, and just playing around the neighborhood. Excuse my mess here in the garage. I've got a total disaster mess here. Like always, you know, it's usually like that. Let me show you what I got here. All right, we got a garage full of two-wheelers. Of course, the bicycles and lawnmowers are all crammed up in here. It's kind of hard to see. This is Robert's old bike. Now, I don't know if this is a Rupp or a Coleman, but the old school style mini bike frames. He's had this for a little while, and he brought it over with a bad engine. So I did a little engine swap, and it's not really a stage one, but it's almost a stage one. I did a governor delete on it, air filter adapter, deleted the oil sensor, and plugged those holes off. So I've got this one running for him already. This one's ready to go. So I was a little jealous, you know, I can't be outdone. So I picked up two of the Baja Warrior mini bikes. These are a little bigger than the old school style frame, a little bigger tires. They have working suspension on the front. They're just rigid on the back. I've got this one, it's a nice clean little frame. And then I've got this one, which has an engine on it. And the engine does turn over, it's got compression. And this is pretty much just like I got these. I haven't done anything to them, and I thought, you know what, before I start tearing into this thing, I'm gonna make a little video to share with everybody. So this is the complete one, but I'm gonna totally break this one down. I'm gonna check the motor out real good, clean it up. None of the tires hold air on either one of these, so I've got some tube repair to do. So that's the before. I'm gonna clean this thing up and paint it. This one over here, the black one, I will wind up throwing a motor. I've got a couple of motors over here in the front on the floor. That's a Briggs & Stratton flathead in the bag, and got an old Predator 212 over there as well. I know you guys really want to see this Sportster chopper here. This is Robert's 85 Sportster. This was a stock Sportster frame that he's cut and put a throttle addiction hardtail on. So we've got that going on. Here's his aluminum Manta Ray fender. We're going to be doing a paint job here pretty soon on his tins. That's the narrowed Frisco mount sporty tank. He's running a spool front wheel. He'll be shaving those fork lowers on this thing pretty shortly, but right now we're just waiting on some parts on this. He's got at his place. He's about 45 minutes from me. He's got to bring the oil tank and a couple little things so we can weld up all of the tabs for the oil tank, for the tank mounts if we need them, whatever else he's going to do. And we're going to tear this thing back apart, paint the frame and the tins, and then build it. So I'll have a video on that for sure. More to do with the chopper. So you can see this tiny garage is a total disaster. I cleaned it up just the other day, but we did some work in here, and I've moved stuff and shuffled stuff around. So forgive my mess, but that's how it is at Pop's Place. It's always a mess here. I do some cool stuff regardless. Robert's got these cool little H bars on his bike. He's actually narrowed those bars a little bit. And that's all you're going to have on those bars, just his clutch lever, because he doesn't have a front brake. with the spool. Nice and clean. But for this video today, let's see what we can do with this little bike. I'm going to tear it down. So we're going to see if the motor has got oil in it. Just figure it out, see what we got. I've got most of the junk off of it. Somebody had wired up some LED lights and they had a million wires or who knows what, and the headlight on the front, which bracket's broken. I won't be using that. I'm just going to strip this thing down to bare bones. But for now, let's blow off a year's worth of dirt here. Looking a little better. Looking a little better already. You know, less is more with these little mini bikes. We got too much junk on them, and all the junk is bad. They look like a total piece of shit. But once I get these tires aired up and this thing clean, it'll actually look like a clean little bike. Now I don't have seats for either one. I have to make some seats for them, but that shouldn't be too bad. So I think my next order of business is I'm going to take the chain and clutch off of this thing so that I'm able to remove the engine. I'm undecided whether or not I want to try to crank it with the engine on there. If I do, I need to check the oil and the gas and everything. We might see if we can get this thing to fire up. In fact, I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and check that oil, and I'm sure the gas is bad in it, so I will probably take that gas tank off and dump it out, put some fresh fuel in there. I even got some air in the tires. Tried to air them up, and I had a nail in the front tire, put a screw in it for now. Had a hole from a nail in the back tire, put a screw in it for now. If these are tubeless tires, which I'm not sure that they are, I can put a plug in them. But I think these are going to be tube type tires. But hey man, that's looking pretty good. Went ahead and gave it a little bath. Not a good bath, just a little quick rinse off. I degreased the wheels and tires and a little bit of the frame. It's still got some grease on the motor and around the motor, but I'll clean that up good when I take the motor off. It's starting to look like something. Well, the gas doesn't smell too bad, surprisingly, and it does have oil in it. The oil's clean. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to pull on it a couple times and see what happens. Doesn't seem to want to pop off. I need to check for spark and maybe spray a little something in the carburetor. Well, that old motor was pretty much shot. It didn't have much compression. It had a little. I couldn't get it to run. I didn't fight it that much before. You know, I thought, well, I've got another motor sitting right over here that I know runs. It's pretty new, low hours. Misplaced the gas tank for it, and the pull rope had broken, so I used the old gas tank and pull rope and just cleaned it up. But that's a low hour Predator motor on there, so that one runs pretty good. Let's see. It's looking good. I've got everything bolted up. Had to pick up some new bolts. Luckily I swapped motors because somebody had crammed the wrong size bolt into the crankshaft of that other Predator anyway, and it was stripped out when I tried to take the clutch off. So I ran down to my nut and bolt supply and picked up some new 5/16 24 bolts for this thing. I needed 5 of them. I needed some to put that jack shaft plate on the motor, and I needed one for my clutch. So now all that's on there properly and looking good. In fact, that front chain, the front half of that jack shaft chain there was bad, the old one. I happen to have another piece of chain laying around, so I went ahead and made that up for it. So she's ready to go, except for a throttle cable. The old throttle was broken, so I need that throttle cable, and she will be ready to rip. Not sure if I'll run the old gas tank back on there. It's a fake gas tank on these, just for looks. I may clean it up and give it a little flame paint job or something. But that's it. I'll make another video a little later of me ripping this thing once I get a throttle cable on there, but that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching Pop's Place Mini Bike Edition. We'll see you next time.